Oh, hold on a second. Where's my money at? Hey. Nie ma sprawy.
Beyond borders, beyond time. Poland is more than just a location on a map. You feel it before you see it. A current that, despite the surface appearing calm, continues to hum beneath it. Despite changes in borders, flags, and empires, the nation's spirit has always been more than its physical location. For over a century, the nation was absent from official maps, yet for some reason it refused to disappear. When we talk about Poland, we're talking about a presence that has endured erasure. Imagine a country that has been erased from the map but continues to whisper its name in backrooms, at kitchen tables, and in anthems sung quietly enough that only family members can hear. Imagine grandmothers who continued to teach their grandchildren a language that was no longer accepted by the country's rulers because the words themselves were a sign of disobedience. When it was time to rise, that whisper turned into a murmur, then a song, and finally a roar. This is an act of recognition. Poland insists on existing, which has shaped not only its history but also its character, in contrast to other countries that merely exist. It is a nation that understands how to wait, persevere, gather strength in quiet, and rise when the time comes. Strength forged in adversity. Adversity is not a chapter in Poland. It is the spine that keeps the narrative cohesive. The land was divided by foreign emperors and kings as if it were a pie to be sliced at someone else's table. And when the dust settled, someone always went back to sow again, even as armies marched across fields where rye was just turning to gold. Through the crushing of uprisings, the burning of cities, and the freezing Siberian winds that swallowed thousands, the Polish spirit was tempered like steel. Instead of shattering, it gained a strange kind of brilliance. It became ironic and proud, solemn and unyielding, a spirit capable of planning a rebellion one minute and kneeling in prayer the next. As if to prove that memory can take physical shape, Warsaw stands as the perfect example of a city destroyed and then rebuilt brick by brick. Today, to walk through its streets is to witness architecture turned into defiance. Solidarity and subtle humor. The word often associates Poland with conflict, but the reality is one of unity. When the stakes are high, Poles pull together. A stranger at the border can count on hot tea, a blanket, and someone saying, "Sit, you must be tired." Everyone cares about the neighbor's bad luck. This was never more evident than in 2022, when millions of Ukrainian refugees entered Poland and were welcomed with open arms, spare rooms, and hot meals, despite the tense history between our countries and the memories of Wołyń woven into many Polish households. Here, solidarity is not a catchphrase. It is instinct. It came to the surface in the 80s when Gdańsk shipyard workers, armed with nothing but faith, courage and paper placards, brought an empire to its knees. And every time there is a flood, a crisis or a war nearby, it rises again, quietly and steadily. And then there is the humor, sardonic, dry, frequently absurd. In Poland, jokes are often about surviving. It's how people learned to laugh at authority without ending up in jail for treason, and how they soften the sting of censored newspapers and empty shelves. The jokes remain razor sharp, as if forged from the same steel as the history that made them. Freedom as a birthright. In Poland, freedom comes naturally. There is something in the Polish temperament that defies ownership. You can rename the streets, you can censor the newspaper, or even occupy the land, but you cannot stop a Pole from thinking for himself. Maybe it comes from being one of the most invaded nations in the world. The idea of Poland endured despite being partitioned 3 times in the 18th century and removed from the map for 123 years. Quietly but firmly, freedom was taught to every generation as a duty. The desire for freedom is always present, like a string pulled taut, even if it isn't audible in everyday life. It's there in small gestures. The stubborn refusal to abandon one's mother tongue, the silent toasts to the fallen and the lost. The way children are taught that history matters because it is theirs. It explains why uprisings were planned, knowing they would fail, why revolts continued even when they were doomed, and why cities were rebuilt when there was barely enough food to survive. Freedom in Poland is unquestioned, fiercely quiet, and as natural as breathing.
Strumming softly in the night, humming whispers take their flight.
Beyond glass cases and museums, the Polish spirit endures. It moves through marketplaces, cobblestone streets, and the quiet obstinacy of daily life. For a nation destroyed and rebuilt so many times, endurance and elegance have become second nature. For those who arrive here, this spirit is not just something you see, it is something you feel, something that insists you carry a piece of it with you when you leave.
With this echo, we find home. Echoes linger in the air, melancholy beyond compare. Strings weep, chilly hearts will sigh. In this moment, love will die. Lost in the hollow, vibrations hold, embrace the ache. Every chord, every breath,